Tomorrow's election day. Let's dive in. It's not as bad as I may have made it sound. We're just gonna get started, okay? So, I have lots of maps to show you today. I also have some early voting numbers to go over, so the maps I have are where current polling is, what I think is going to happen, and then several different scenarios of what might happen anyway. So first, let's talk about early voting. Absolutely phenomenal early vote turnout. Once again, so of the swing states, Texas is already 13% above their total votes from 2016. They are at 113%. And early voting is done now in Texas. And 113%. And it's not like people are not going to vote on election day in Texas. The number is just going to go up. It's amazing. So other very high numbers. North Carolina, 100%. Nevada, Georgia, and Florida, 98%. And Arizona, 95%. Well done. Stunning, huge numbers, only going to go up. And I think, honestly, this year is obviously going to be like the high watermark for early voting. But I do think that in future elections, early voting will be higher than it was in the past, because once you vote by mail, once you vote early, it's like, well, why wasn't I always doing this? So I think that'll go up. Total early vote is at 96 million. We were at 30 million and then 63 million. We are now at 96 million, which is 69% nationally of the total vote in 2016. Look at us go. Voting. Okay, that's early voting. Let's get to current polling. This is a map of current polling. It's got still 7 toss-up states. Nevada has switched from likely Biden to lean Biden, but Pennsylvania is still likely Biden. And then there's Montana, which went from likely Trump to lean Trump. I think it'll stay that way. So now what I did next was I was like, okay, what do I think is actually going to happen? I've been tracking the race for several weeks now. What do I think is going to happen? And when I started thinking of that, so I cleared out the map, filled in what I was sure about, and then I was like, well, let me take a look at current polling. So basically, like, anything likely or lean Biden goes blue. Anything likely or lean Trump goes Trump. Any of the toss-up states, whoever is winning, even if it's by 1%, let's say they get it. Assuming that current polling was completely the case of how it turns out, this is what the map looks like. And you're thinking, holy goodness, that's a high number for Biden. Is that possible? Yes. If Biden is, because even if you're only leading by 1%, unless you're Nebraska or Maine, you get all of that state's electoral college votes. So if Biden wins by like 1 vote in Georgia, he gets Georgia's electoral votes. Doesn't matter. And there are so many of these toss-up states that are so close and could go either way. And so when I was making like my final choices, I was like, there were a lot of them that were tough. But so I said, okay, so I have this map. And then I was like, well, okay, so what do I think is actually going to happen? Now, you'd think, oh, we'll just follow polling. And so what I did was I looked at everything that I was sure on, put those in first. And then for the toss-up ones, I compared my source of polling to another source of polling. So I've been using 538. I compared it to Real Clear Politics, and for any state that those matched, that's what I put for that state. And any time where it didn't match, I looked into it further and then made a decision. And as it turns out, I got the same map. But then I was like, but it's such a big number though. How can that be? Here's the thing about that very big number. That very big number could evaporate because there are so many toss-up states. You move those around and that number changes drastically. Because you have states where you have someone leading by 1% or 2%, you switch that up, all of that state's electoral votes goes to that person, and it drastically changes that number on top. So let's go over some scenarios of what that might look like. So I'm referring to notes here. Okay, so let's say that Biden wins Florida. Now, Florida, as it turns out, is a state that we might actually know on election night. So let's say Biden wins Florida, but Trump wins all of the other toss-up states and Nevada and Pennsylvania. Biden still wins. Now let's say Trump wins all the toss-up states plus Nevada. As long as Biden holds on to Pennsylvania, Biden still wins. Let's say that Biden wins Arizona and Nevada, but Trump wins the other toss-up states and Pennsylvania. Biden still wins. But if, similar to that scenario, Biden wins Arizona, but Trump wins Nevada and Pennsylvania in the toss-ups, in that case, Trump wins. And Arizona, let me double check. Arizona is the toss-up state that Biden is currently polling highest in. So Biden is at 2.9 in Arizona, and the cutoff that I have put on toss-ups is below 3. So, you know what? I forgot to mention something. Another scenario, another like whisper of a dream scenario. Let's say Texas goes blue. Why not? Let's say. Here's the thing. If Texas goes blue, then Trump could win all the other toss-ups and Nevada and Pennsylvania and probably some other places. Biden still wins if he got Texas and somehow lost so much else. The thing is that that's possible though. I don't know how I'm going to get through tomorrow. Back to where I was. Those are some scenarios. That's what we might be seeing. And so that is why you can have such different turnouts, such different numbers, and just here we are. Okay. Okay. I think Biden will win. It's possible the map looks like this. It's possible the map looks like this. And the reason that it's hard to say is because there are so many toss-up states. You have so many states that could go either way. Like, Trump is winning in Texas, but by 1 point, 1.0. So, like, Trump is winning in Ohio by 0.8. I gave both of those to him in my guess. And then also, what's the other one he's leading in? Iowa, he's leading by 1.4. Toss-up states. So, Election Day is tomorrow. I'm considering doing an Election Day vlog, but I feel like it would just be me freaking out for like 12 hours. So, while it may be amusing, I don't know if I want to always be able to relive that. So we'll have to see how that goes. But if you know someone who has not yet voted, encourage them to vote. That is the best thing that I can tell you today. And that I think that Biden will win. So those two things. Good luck.